Universities' academic years to resume. Local MPs asked to help students return. And 10 million kina for Maprik's first airport.
This is National EMTV News with Hope Imaka.
Good evening and thank you for joining us for Monday's news. The government has announced that the academic years for the universities of Goroka, Technology and University of Papua New Guinea will resume. Newly appointed Minister of Higher Education, Francis Marus, announced that the academic year for the University of Goroka will resume in 2 weeks' time. He also announced that the academic year for the University of Technology will resume on the 29th of August, while the UPNG academic year is expected to resume in September.
Announcing the resumption of the academic year for the three universities, the new Higher Education Minister, Francis Marus, said that after dialogues with the affected university, the academic years will resume with University of Goroka to lead the way.
The academic year resume forthwith. Then we will follow by University of Technology.
Leh University of Technology will be resuming on August 29th, and the damaged infrastructures during a student rampage of a student's death will be catered by Leh Unitech, and long-term solutions will be set up by the government.
From them having the reconciliation, getting both governors from Southern Highlands and Anger Province to be partners in making sure that the reconciliation process is done amicably.
Meanwhile, the UPNG academic year will resume in September due to the termination of 2016 academic year. 2017 academic year will begin in September, and there will be 4 semesters consisting of 2016 2 semesters. While 2017 first-year students will begin classes in April, and the usual graduation of 2016 will go accordingly. Students on TESA scholarship will resume their scholarships, while a reapplying form will be required for students to fill for UPNG due to the beginning of 2017 academic year to allow the university to understand the total number of students attending.
Sort of met and also decide to bring 2017 academic year forward in 2016, meaning because they have terminated the 2016 year, they will now bring 2016 forward, and they will go by way of quadruple semester.
Adelaide Xerox Kari, National EMTV News.
Members of Parliament have been told to help students return to universities to resume classes. The new Higher Education Minister said that due to factors faced by universities this year, it has pushed them over their budgets.
Governors, all my provincial governors and open members of Parliament to support the sector by way of assisting their students to travel back to their respective learning institution.
Prime Minister Peter O'Neill this afternoon confirmed the resumption of the academic year. He said students must be given a chance to complete their studies. Meanwhile, outstanding issues will be discussed and resolved by all parties involved. The Prime Minister also issued a warning to foreign media to report responsibly. Under the former minister, the Higher Education Ministry transformed from an office to becoming a department. Attending the ceremony were vice-chancellors and chancellors of state and church universities who acknowledged the work of the outgoing minister and welcomed Francis Marus as the new minister.
Higher Education, Research, Science and Technology Secretary Professor David Kavanamur said that the outgoing Minister Malakai Tapar has done a lot for the department.
Research, Science and Technology research achievements rest on a foundational work laid by previous ministers, and some of these include the passing and the adoption of the Higher Education General Provisions Act 2014, the transformation of the Office of Higher Education to a department, launching of the National Higher Education and Technical Education Plan 2015-2024.
The outgoing minister said during his short term in office, he was pleased with the achievements despite the challenges.
This is a time also in Papua New Guinea that this sector, especially in the country, has got some exciting but challenging issues. And I believe this country, under the leadership of Mr. Maros and the Secretary and the Department, the staff, we will be able to resolve and get out of all these difficulties, some good things for this country.
While the incoming minister said he will place the 2016 academic programs as the priorities in the remaining 9 months.
Of the 2016 academic program, as all of us will understand, our citizens out there and the students are very anxious to learn what will be the outcome of the 2016 academic year. I would like to recommend that we have to salvage the 2016 academic year. I will be working closely with
While handing the portfolio over, an emotional Minister Taba wished the new minister well.
Shine before men, that they may see your good works and glorify your Father which is in heaven. In the name of God the Father, God the Son, God the Holy Spirit.
Adelaide Xerox Kari National, MTV News.
The PNG University of Technology Administration is progressing towards the resumption of classes later this month. The temporary mass facility has been prepared for student use when they return to the campus on the 24th of this month. Bethany Harman with this report.
The University of Technology is preparing to begin the academic year again after it came to an abrupt end when a student was killed on campus. The finishing touches are being made to the Union Hall that will be a temporary messing facility, replacing the old one that got burnt down during the night of the 25th of June when the student was killed. The mess was burnt down after a first-year student was killed while he was asleep in his dorm, resulting in the immediate closure of the university the next day. Today, the university comes closer to resuming the 2016 academic year. The messing facility was the only setback that needed managing, but the university's administration has resolved the matter. Vice-Chancellor Dr. Albert Schramm, who is away in Japan meeting with Japanese universities for future programs, said the academic year would continue. The Unitech administration has been working ever since the campus closure to make sure that the academic year continues. The Unitech Academic Board met on the 27th of last month. They've approved the calendar leading up to the arrival of students on the 24th of this month. Bethany Harriman, National MTV News, Leh.
The national government has given 10 million kina to the Maprik district to build and upgrade its first airport. Local MP John Simon told MTV News that his administration will deliver this project and hopes by December to land the first airplane in Maprik.
Maprik district is a service center serving over 4 districts between East and West Sepik. It is the main economic hub for small to large businesses in the central Sepik area.
East and West Sepik, we have 10 districts. And at least 8 of these districts travel through Maprik and they have access through basic services through Maprik.
Last Wednesday, the Prime Minister announced 10 million kina will be allocated for the upgrade and building of Maprik's first airport, something which complements the growing economic activities in central Sepik.
Airport by you put him 10 million, can I go upside?
Accessibility in and out of Maprik is not that difficult. Almost 90% of the district is covered by roads, but the airport project will cater for the population, which starts from as far as Nuku district in the West Sepik province to the waterfronts of the Sepik River.
With 3 million kina, we managed to start the initial groundwork. And then with the little money that we have in DSIP, we continue to fund other activities of the airport.
The project is now in its leveling and filling phase, and once complete, proper grounds for the runway and fencing will commence. Local MP John Simon is hopeful that by December an airplane should land.
We will land Air New Guinea, like the Prime Minister said, before the end of this year as a Christmas present to my people of Maprik.
Stanley Over Jr., National EMTV News.
Among stories after the break, today's incident in Alotau amidst a visiting cruise ship. Welcome back to the news. Member for Alotau, Charles Abel, told Alotau residents this afternoon that the situation in town is under control and for them to remain calm. Abel addressed a large crowd that gathered in the middle of the sleepy tourist township after news spread that the PNG Air Office in town was being robbed. He also appealed to residents of Alotau not to harbour criminals. The situation this morning caused a lot of panic in town since it occurred just days after a policeman was shot. While Alotau residents were quick to assist tourists on board the Piniau ship who were visiting the town, Abel said they must also help in ridding the town of criminal elements. Meanwhile, no foreign tourists of the cruise vessel Pacific Aria were involved in an armed robbery in the tourist township of Alotau this morning. Sea cruise company Piniau Cruises Australia this afternoon released a statement confirming that all passengers of the Pacific Aria were accounted for and that following reports of the armed robbery, all shore tours were ordered back to the ship and immediate steps were taken to bring all other passengers and crew back on board. Piniau also confirmed that 8 remaining passengers were returning from an independent local boat tour to a nearby island. The company said once all remaining 8 passengers were on board, the Pacific Aria will depart for the Trobriand Islands and its next scheduled call to remote Kitava Island. The Pacific Aria is currently on a 10-night cruise to popular PNG tourist destinations, including the Milne Bay district and the Trobriand Islands. And on a related note, PNG Air Limited said this afternoon that they were grateful to the efforts of Milne Bay Police who assisted in the safe release of staff who had been held by masked gunmen in the attempted armed robbery this morning in Alotau. PNG Air Chief Executive Officer Murali Siva said the experience had been traumatic for all staff and they were all happy and relieved that no one was hurt. Piniau Road Clinic in Lae has been closed for more than 3 months now. The clinic was closed due to water disconnections, toilet blockages and insufficient funds to pay for electricity bills. More than 4,000 people are affected by the closure of the clinic.
The Piniau Urban Clinic located at Bundikamp in Lae has been closed for more than 3 months. The clinic was closed after the water was disconnected due to outstanding bills and blocked sewage system. The health officers working there are currently attending to TB patients and not to other sick patients.
Na mipla ting em open no gat em pasken. Open pasken. Na mipla kisimol sick monkey mipla yet iko down lo engau oli tok yupla clinic lo yupla stop.
Because of the closure, patients and residents of the area seeking medical services from Engau Hospital and other clinics in the city are not treated and asked to return back to Piniau Urban Clinic. It turned out emotional for 13-year-old student Betty Simon, who could not get supplies of Panadol from the clinic for her grandmother.
Supply ben pinis na ngo beken loksim. Supply now si pinis na kam beken sta laus na. Sa lived solo Panadol na mika loksi Panadol lesson. Otok
Meanwhile, the Chief Executive Officer for Lae District Development Authority, Robin Callisto, says the OIC of the clinic has consulted with him regarding the situation of the clinic. Callisto said though Lae City Authority is responsible for the closure of the clinic, the District Development Authority will step in to cover for the cost in order for the clinic to operate.
But recently, this year, we're struggling with funding that is coming through the district and the LLG. We have not been receiving our grants on time.
Julie Badwi Owa, National EMTV News, Lae.
Matugar village in the Sumgilba LLG of Madang province is facing serious climate change threats from the sea. The wind has been smashing waves onto the shoreline of the village, leaving only 2 meters of soil left before it gets onto the sealed highway road. Rachel Shise reports.
The islands and the coastal areas of Madang have been hard hit by the sea with the help of the strong winds experienced lately. Matugar village on the outskirts of Madang town has an estimate of only 2 meters of soil left before the sealed main road connecting the north coast, Bogia and Ramu people to Madang town gets cut off.
So every year, every time, one row, Diwa, Ponas and Saulusi go down. But this very year, man, people are surprised to also. And flow, to us will come up with big road.
Despite witnessing what the sea had done, the people refused to move elsewhere.
Government, it must work on something inside the community, long resettlement. Now suppose government now work on something move long resettlement.
The National Climate Change Acting Managing Director, Joe Pokana, visited the village recently in his visit to establish the Madang Climate Change Committee.
For the government, I'm now talking with the Provincial Climate Change Committee. They have several reports already, one by Department of Works, one by the villages themselves, and the other by the disaster center here in the province. So I think we have enough data to actually find some way to help this village protect them from the sea level rise that is affecting the village now.
Matugar village has more than 2,000 people living on the left side of this road, and the sea, as you can see on my right, is eating away at this road that I am standing on. The ground was out there just this year, and the trees that are lying on the sand now were here standing just last month. Without the trees now to block the wind and the waves from the sea, the village is going away soon. Rachel Shise, National EMTV News, Madang.
After almost 55 years of initial planning, Pakinsela village in Namatanai has a new church building. The new United Church building is a community-driven initiative by elites of the village, empowered by local resources. The church building was opened recently by United Church Bishop Reverend Alotau.
Built on faith, this church building is a dream shared by 2 generations from the village of Pakinsela on the west coast of Namatanai. It was a significant event for many who gathered for the church opening. Despite being seen as a community-driven initiative, Bishop Alotau says the new church embraces the growth in the church leveled against the faith of the locals at Pakinsela. New Island Governor Sir Julius Chen joined the celebrations during the main service, along with Kevin MP Ben Maika and Namatanai MP Byron Chen. The new church building boasts a seating capacity of over 300 people. National Court Judge and local Judge Panel Mogis says the church was not built easily.
55 years. People wet, people cry, people fight, people sorry, people sing. Now people come on joy times for it.
Prior to course celebrations and food sharing, local elite Dr. Robin Sears made his call to the next generations of Pakinsela.
Long next generation people. How people using this building. Long glorify God, long worship God, long end, long halim all man long place, now marry na beginning.
Calls were presented by different circuits around New Island, including the Duke of York Islands. It took almost 2.5 years to complete the church with a fundraising balance of 48,000 kina. Other costs of construction were not included because of the generosity of individuals. Jack Lapave Jr. National EMTV News.
And now looking at our finance news, the kina closed unchanged at $0.3155 in the interbank market. At Bank South Pacific, your kina was buying $0.3080, $0.4025 Australian dollars, €0.2727 euro, and 31.20 Japanese yen. Looking at commodity prices at New York close, coffee closed higher, gold and cocoa closed lower, while copra closed the day unchanged. Palm oil closed lower, while crude oil and copper closed the day higher. And on the stock market, the Dow Jones closed at 24.11 points lower, the ASX is trading at 21.7 points higher, and the All Ordinaries is trading at 23.24 points higher. More local stories after the break. Stay tuned. Welcome back. Education Secretary Dr. Okakombra says school fighting is common in some of the provinces of the country, including Lae. Therefore, the Education Department has come up with a strategy to deal with the issue. The department is working on a national strategy to correct the behavior in the school system. He said the Education Minister is looking at the policy and will make an announcement soon.
There's specific contextual issues, the background of the students, the environment where the school is situated, and some history behind it as well. There's some things that are carried from one cohort of students to the next year. So those things are there, so we'll have to meet with some specific practical strategies that will address some of these issues. So we have done a strategy paper, and for the minister to make a policy statement on that.
Over 400 students and teachers of Lae's St. Joseph Catholic Technical School celebrated the opening of 6 new buildings at the school last Friday. It took the school 3 years to build these new infrastructures. The buildings were built using the tuition fee-free funds.
The 6 new buildings came as a present to the students and staff of the school after many years of learning in buildings that were built in the 1960s. These new constructions include bricklaying workshops, an administration office, an electronic technology building, and teachers' flats.
2.8 million estimated. And one that admin, I spent around 600,000.
St. Joseph Catholic Technical School Center Manager Moses Kaupa said the buildings took them 3 years to complete. It cost about 3 million kina. The buildings were built using the tuition fee-free funds going into the school. However, minor works were left incomplete due to limited funds available.
Out of TFF funds, I used it to build 6 workshops and 12 classrooms.
The Morobe Governor Kelinaru committed 300,000 kina to the school to assist the technical school with more infrastructural developments. Naru says the money committed will be budgeted in next year's budget. Education Secretary Dr. Okakombra said 2.7 billion kina had been invested in the education system. He believes TVET programs are the best way forward in terms of the development of this country, saying at the end of this academic year only 5,000 of those students in the formal education system will find a job. The rest will return to their communities. Mata Luis, National EMTV News, Lae.
Plans are in place to establish more libraries in rural areas to improve the literacy rate in the country. This was announced today by the Office of Libraries and Archives Director, General Kakaito Kasi, at the launching of the National Book Week. This year's theme is Read, Educate, Advance and Develop.
The National Library and Archives is preparing to deliver the much-needed library, archives and record services throughout the country with delivering the 2025 plan. The idea to create more libraries in rural areas is to provide easy access for people to books and have information at hand. Mr. Kasi said this will expand and broaden the knowledge of children and adults alike for nation building.
Every district should have a district library. A lot of tasks ahead of us. but we will need the support of everyone in the community.
Part of the plan is to revive and restore provincial libraries and also establish archival libraries in the country. This is because some provincial libraries have closed. Mr. Kasi said they will be working closely with the partners to achieve the 2025 goal.
We are developing what we call minimum standards for districts and local level governments. We are now working with the Department of National Planning, trying to develop what we call service delivery agreements, which we can link up building libraries in 89 districts of our country.
This morning's launching saw several schools take part in various activities and display their reading abilities at the Waigani National Library. This year's National Book Week will see a range of activities from library storytelling to inter-school quiz in the nation's capital. Merlin Diaukatam, National EMTV News.
The NCD Schools Expo ended on a high note, with students from all schools across the nation's capital participating. In essence, it provides career pathways for students to seek employment and further studies in universities, colleges and private institutions. Eric Harupma with this report.
The 4 days event ended successfully last Friday with over 3,000 students going through less than 30 booths exhibition. Some students said it's really good because this will give them an insight into the type of scholarship programs offered by these institutions.
They are giving us some information. If we do well, we can get scholarship, and if we don't do well, we can do other self-sponsored. So it's really good.
I have seen positive things about myself. I'll be going down to Australia to do my practical and licensing at the Great Barrier Reef International Maritime College. I encourage students out there, Great Wolves, to apply to Asia Pacific. Your dreams and aspirations will never be shattered.
Others said it's been a good experience going there, knowing a lot of institutions they are not aware of future preferences.
It's been a really good experience coming here. We've learned about a lot more universities and institutions that we were not aware of before.
Career Expo chairperson Qt Vui Nguyendof said since it's open on Tuesday, students have been behaving really well.
It's been good. No behavior problems from the students. Thank you very much, all the Great Wall students who have been here. And the teachers have been supportive. The principals have been very, very supportive.
With the impetus and drive to organize similar events in the future, the challenge is where they would solicit funding from.
Students, the grade 12 students in NCD actually pay 5 kina each so that we can have enough money to raise or to put the event on.
It was organized by a group of guidance teachers, deputy principals, including the Voice Inc. founder Serena Sumano, basically to inspire students to become successful in life.
At the core of the existence of The Voice, we have this belief that we cannot build a nation on broken people. You've heard it said probably all week that you are the future leaders of this country.
Speaking on behalf of the exhibitors was the Defence Force Education Team leader, Major Paul Ageva.
Exhibit this weekend, continue this partnership into the next coming years so that we continue to build the foundation of all the students that come to NCD, and I wish that this could be extended to all provinces throughout Papua New Guinea.
He thanked organizers for allowing exhibitors to come and showcase at the event. Each exhibitor was given a certificate of participation. Eric Harupma, National EMTV News.
To take us to Trukai sports, South Korea is taking extra precaution to protect its athletes in Rio. They've designed special uniforms with built-in mosquito repellent. The idea is to resist the Zika virus.
The national flag, the team logo, and encouraging messages from people sewn into the lining. This is South Korea's Olympic uniform. 600 are being made here just outside Seoul for athletes and officials to wear in Rio this August. And there's something else that makes this outfit unique. It is apparently Zika resistant. But aside from the long sleeves and the long trousers keeping skin off limits to mosquitoes, the rest remains a bit of a mystery. The Zika-resistant part of this uniform is apparently top secret. Now, all we've been told is that once these uniforms are finished, they're then shipped off to an unnamed company, and there they coat the uniforms with an insect-repellent chemical. We're not allowed to film that part. We're told it has been tested to repel mosquitoes, and it works. No lab results or footage available, though. Designer Kim Soo-chong says she was going for protection and comfort and something truly Korean. I wanted our athletes to look classy and stylish, she says, as they're on a global stage. Next, I wanted it to be in the unique Korean style. Lastly, it had to be functional and comfortable. South Korea's Olympic Committee says so far no athlete has dropped out through fears of the Zika virus, but medicine, insect repellent and mosquito nets are being prepared, as well as a uniform that leaves little exposed for the mosquitoes to bite.
More on the Rio Olympics and Trukai sports. That's after the break.
Trukai Sports.
Welcome to Trukai Sports. Rising athlete Theo Piniau will make his first Olympic Games appearance at the Rio Games this month. After a blitzing performance during last year's Port Moresby Pacific Games, young Piniau will now go a step further and will be running against the best in the world.
It is no secret that Piniau is currently one of the best runners PNG has on offer. Last year's Pacific Games proved that he was a force to be reckoned with on the tracks, turning heads with his blistering speed.
Again, Piniau lifting, he can hear the crowd urging him forward. Been a great run.
Now he goes one step better to the world stage to compete at the Olympic Games, something he doesn't take lightly.
So my first time, it's really exciting. At the same time, I'm, kind of under pressure, but also really happy to go for this. It's a privilege for me to go, so I'm pretty glad to go.
For Piniau, the journey he has taken to be able to compete at the Olympics is what he has worked very hard to achieve over the last few years.
I just put my head down, for classes and started training all that time during the Christmas break. During the winter it was snowing and all. I just kept on training and training and training. During in January when our season started for indoor, I just did a whole lot of stuff.
Studying and training abroad in Texas, United States has given Piniau the opportunity to train and compete against quality competition from around the world.
The school that I go to, West Texas A&M University, I have a lot of teammates on my team that are very fast, from other countries, from Africa, from the Caribbean, and even from America also, as well as Europe. They were always very competitive during training, and we all pushed ourselves during training, and every weekend we'd run faster times than the previous weekend, so we bettered our performances every weekend, week in, week out, training, studying also at the same time. And we just did really well during our outdoor national championships, and that was really good.
Piniau leaves PNG shores for Rio to join the rest of the PNG contingent already in Brazil, and he's very grateful for the support being offered to him by the country.
I'll do my best to really deliver at the Olympic Games, so thanks for all your support. Hi to mom and dad back home. Let's go.
He will be competing in the 200 and 400 meter athletics events, where he could compete against the world's fastest man, Usain Bolt. Dion Kombeng, National EMTV Sports.
After the Hunters' thrilling win over the reigning premiers Ipswich Jets, coach Michael Murrum is fairly confident of his team's chances of making it to the finals. He says the last remaining 5 games will be a challenge for the team, but they plan to take each game at a time.
Coach Michael Murrum says the boys have improved on their little errors over the past few weeks and are gearing up for the last 5 games. The Hunters are also hoping to have a home final in Port Moresby at the National Football Stadium. The Hunters still remain unbeaten at home in this year's Interest Super Cup. The SPPNG Hunters remain in 3rd place on the Interest Super Cup ladder. They play the Burleigh Bears at the National Football Stadium this Sunday at 3 p.m. The Hunters faced the Bears once this season in round 8 and lost 20 points to 18. The best seat on top of this season's ISC ladder, and this weekend's match will be hard fought by both teams. Elijah Lavette, National EMTV Sports.
True Guy Sports continues with football, netball and basketball. Stay with us.
True Guy Sports.
Welcome back. In football, meet Olive Upaupa, the young defender hoping to be part of Lisa Cole's final 23 as the FIFA Under-20 Women's World Cup approaches. Upaupa had her first taste of competitive international football during PNG's maiden home match against Japan.
My name is Olive Upaupa. I'm from a mixed parentage of East Sepik and East New Britain. I played as a central defender for PNG U20's national team.
For Olive Upaupa, the experience of playing for Papua New Guinea is one that is hard for her to express. The young woman is the latest crop of future footballers in Papua New Guinea and says the opportunity is one that she doesn't take for granted.
I like playing games. That's why when I on the team, I'll make what my dreams are.
While lacking the same experience as a team captain Yvonne Gabong and striker Ramona Padio, Upaupa hopes that what she has learned will allow her to be better in the future.
When something online, I can prove him also can start senior team and they can be selected to other countries. So what our performance they do.
Giving her best is all that Upaupa is hoping for, and come November, a true test will come in front of her home country.
I play my best. I make the country proud. I'll give what the crowds wanted. But I'll say thank you to my coach what they're doing and learning us.
Jeremy Mogi, National EMTV Sports.
The junior Pepes will now prepare for the Regional World Cup qualifying tournament next month after playing host to the Singapore Under-20 netball team in an invitational series last month. The team has been trimmed down from 20 to 15. Under the guidance of Pepes coach Unaisi Rokora, the team will undergo intense training in preparation for the qualifying tournament. Port Moresby Men's and Women's Basketball League A-grade competitions were on court yesterday at the Aquatic Indoor Sports Centre. The men's competition saw 6 men's teams in a heated challenge. Many new players were drawn from their development sides. Godwin Eki reports.
6 men's and women's teams played in their A-grade matches yesterday. Many of the young players in both teams were from the development program who played in the A-grade division. Men's A-grade coordinator Eric Ellis said many young players that are supposed to play in the under-17, under-18 and under-20 played in the A-grade division because of their experience in the code.
So these are the major clubs that are taking part in the Port Moresby Women's Basketball League and the PNG Men's Basketball League.
He said the code of basketball in the country is slowly growing as many great players in the code have represented PNG internationally. He says men's and women's teams have already been selected to represent Team NCD at this year's PNG Games in Kimbe.
Looking at their skills and all that, we put them on our training program.
Godwin Eki, National EMTV Sports.
The southern leg of the Export Rugby Championship concluded yesterday afternoon with the Port Moresby Boromas finishing off undefeated. In a fiery contest, the Boromas forwards dominated as they walked all over Daru Stingrays to an easy win of 46-14.
In the day's first match, Orofaziwazi took the field in the hopes of upsetting the Port Moresby Gaigais in the final match of the southern leg of the Export Rugby Championship. It took no time for the Gaigais to jump into gear and show their supremacy as they went out to redeem themselves following their loss to the Port Moresby Boromas last Wednesday. In the end, the Gaigais proved too much to handle for the Orofaziwazi, winning the match 41-13. In the day's final match, the informed Boromas took on crowd favourites, the Daru Stingrays. Stingrays fans turned out in numbers, hoping their side would cause an upset in their final game. In a very physical match, both sides are right at each other's throats, but the composure and control of the Boromas proved to give them the extra edge to start the match strongly. With tempers flaring from both sides, the match stopped midway through the second half, with both sides having a go at each other. Although the Stingrays put up a spirited fight right till the final whistle, it just wasn't enough as the Boromas were too strong, coming off victorious 46 points to 14. Dion Kombang, National EMTV Sports.
5 schools from Regal Coast and some from Port Moresby took part in a schools rugby festival organized by PNG RFU at Sir John Guy's Stadium yesterday. The students were also given the privilege to play the curtain raiser for the Southern Conference matches of the Export Rugby Championship.
Silo Sidruma said Get Into Rugby aims to increase junior participation as well as introducing the code to those who are not familiar with the basics. With the involvement from schools inside Port Moresby, they have now advanced into a competition. And that is also the plan for the visiting schools from Regal Coast.
Schools from the Regal Coastal, from Hula, and all the villages around Hula, Babaka, Kamali. They're all here this morning to showcase their skills. They've been working on that program for the last 6 weeks, and it's really good, encouraging to see their numbers and also the energy they put to come all the way from Hula this morning.
Coming from as far as Hula, Kamali Primary School senior teacher Joseph Bunny believes his students' involvement in the Get Into Rugby program has broadened their knowledge. And a chance to take part in the school's rugby festival is the best way to trigger more interest.
It's very beneficial because coming from a soccer-dominated area, the children are eager to learn the game. So they're really happy to be here and participate in this Get Into Rugby program.
Students who participated not only found it exciting, but some are now actually interested to see what more they can do in the sport.
Our sport is only one is soccer. Our first time to play rugby union tag in this stage.
Dini Rose Straiko, National EMTV Sports.
That ends Trukai Sports. The weather details when we come back.
Trukai Sports. Trukai Sports.
Forecast for tonight and tomorrow in the southern region, mostly fine, although partly cloudy for Port Moresby, showers or 2 for Daro, and few showers as well for Kerma, Alotau and Popondetta. In the Momasa region, mostly fine with few showers later for Ley, and mostly fine weather for Madang, Wewak and Vanimo. In the New Guinea Islands, mostly fine weather for Loringau, Kavieng, Kokopo, Rabaul and Kimbe, and light drizzles for Buka. And in the Highlands region, mostly fine for all centres. Now recapping our main stories for tonight. Universities' academic years to resume, local MPs asked to help students return, and 10 million kina for Maprik's first airport. And that's the news, sports and weather for tonight. On behalf of the entire news team, I'm Hope Imaka. Pleasant viewing. Good night.